Hello and good evening. Very warm welcome to all the participants from all across the world who are attending this session for those who qualified in May 2017 and later examinations. My sincere gratitude to ICAI President CA Nihar Jambusaria sir and ICAI Acting Secretary and other members for for the support in this initiative. Committee for Members in Industry and Business is organizing this ETP program from the past few months, where we are on to the 8th batch in this series. This program has helped many of you young professionals, and we are overwhelmed with the feedback which we have received uh, for the sessions which have happened. Today is another day where we are starting the 8th batch, and until 24th of September, you will get an opportunity to listen to speakers from all over the world. Today we have two speakers, first CS Subha Subramanian and second CA Meenakshi Sundaram, who will be talking on very critical topics which are very important for us to scale greater heights. Allow me to introduce our first speaker, CA Subbu Subramanian. Subbu is an insurance expert, having worked at MetLife, Alliance, AIG, Suncorp, and Insurance Australia Group for the last 20 years in a wide variety of roles, including financial planning and analysis, budgeting and forecasting, business intelligence and analytics, decision support, strategic planning and implementation, customer insights, and program management. He is a freelance consultant on education, career guidance, and settlement of new migrants, and is extremely passionate about this. In terms of educational qualifications, Subbu is an Indian Chartered Accountant, MBA from Indian Institute of Management, and a CPA Australia member. He is currently serving as the chairman of our Sydney chapter in Australia, which is a very old chapter amongst overseas chapters of the world. Thank you, Subbu. Thank you for accepting our invite today. Apart from me, we have the committee secretary, Mr. G. Ranganathan G, who is present here today and who will be speaking later during the session. And today you have chosen a very important topic on LinkedIn, which is like part of our lives for 24 hours. It is like where we earlier used to, Coca-Cola used to say that, okay, drink Coke, Pepsi and Coke used to say eat, drink, sleep. It's like that for us, that members and, our students and members both have been working very hard to improve upon their LinkedIn profile and share greater knowledge. And this is when it comes to student, recently the results were declared, and I could see extremely great posts from our students who qualified, and also from those who were not able to make it, to encourage everyone. So therefore, I understand that every student and member is on LinkedIn and have been working hard to improve upon their profiles, but I think your session today will extremely help us to clarify the things which may not be clear to us. And then my request to all the attendees would be to please limit yourself to ask the questions on the particular subject today, and do not digress from that by asking questions which may not be relevant for the session. So, Subbu, we are really looking forward to listen to you and put you questions which are relevant with regard to your session. And with this, I request all our members who are present and watching us to please give a virtual round of applause from where you are, and let us give us a big warm welcome to Subbu. Subbu, screen is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. So first of all, good evening, everyone. Thanks to ICAI and ICAI President CA Nihar Jambusarya for the opportunity to share my experience with newly qualified chartered accountants. I just want to start with narrating a story which happened to me, and I'm assuming that many of you would have encountered the same. So when you know, I was about to give my 10th standard. I was told that by my family members and my seniors that, it's just about 10th standard. It's difficult, it's a challenge. But after that, it'll be fine. Same story, 12th standard, same story when I did my bachelor's. CA, no different. And even after finishing the CA, the story is still the same. The struggle carried on. Next, after finishing a CA, you need to find jobs. Once you settle in your job, you have to move ahead in your career. The struggle never ends, but the good news is that we are here to help you. Over the next 7 days, various insightful speakers are going to share their experience on various topics like growth mindset, learning attitude. You got the agenda there, presentation skills, teamwork, data insights, emerging technology. First of all, wow, what a variety of relevant topics. Today, I have the pleasure to kickstart this 7-day executive development program by being the inaugural speaker on the topic of power of LinkedIn. I'll try to talk less, let's see how I go with that, and actually demonstrate using or toggling between the presentation that I have, which I'll share in a minute, and also the LinkedIn webpage. By this, I want to give you some practical and easy to implement tips to make you a superstar on LinkedIn. But before I do that, I want to first make sure that everyone understands what is LinkedIn and why do we need it at all. So give me like 2 seconds. I'll try to share my screen. I'm just technologically challenged there. Give me 1 second. Sorry, can I just get some help here? So I've tried to share my screen. I've got two monitors here.
Yes. Yeah, we were getting
And
one
I just
screen,
want
a green and a white slides, a page we were getting while you were trying to
no,
share.
so that was the wrong one then.
Yas, can you listen? Yeah.
Okay, I think it should work
Yes.
now.
Yes, now
Okay,
it's okay.
perfect.
Just a slideshow, Subbu, you.
Yeah, sure. I think I'll not go with the slideshow because I need to toggle between the
Okay, okay, fine, fine.
between between
Carry
the
on.
LinkedIn and all that. So, okay,
Right.
cool. So I'm back on track. And essentially what I wanted to do today is tell you what is what is LinkedIn and why do we need LinkedIn? So first of all, LinkedIn, most of you, I'm sure, are there on LinkedIn. It is essentially, think about this as the Facebook, but in a professional world. So it's a professional networking tool, either on the web page or on the app. And this is where you can kind of connect with your peers, with people who are kind of like-minded. Now, why do we need to be on LinkedIn? So just to put some statistics out there, there are up to 40% people who are looking for new jobs at any point in time. And statistics say that 80 to 90% of recruiters these days use LinkedIn as their primary recruitment tool. Now, all you need to do is add the two statistics together to figure out why we need to be on LinkedIn. So it's not only about jobs, job search, but it also to update yourself with the current activities in your industry, upgrade your knowledge, and read a lot of insightful articles. Now, there are some questions which people ask me, and I wanted to first of all get that out of the way. So, the LinkedIn what and the why that I've already covered. In terms of whether I should use the app on my phone or my tablet, or should I use LinkedIn on the website? Now, I'll tell you what, I use both. I have the app on my phone, my tablet, as well as when I need to, I go on the website as well. Now, why do I have to go to the website? Now, there are some features which you can only access via the website. Now, I'm not going to go through all the features that are, I mean, you can kind of figure that out by doing a bit of a comparison. But essentially, there are certain things that you have to go to the website to kind of do it. The next question people ask is there is something called LinkedIn Premium for which you need to pay. And the question people ask is, should we pay at all? Like, is LinkedIn Premium worth it or not? Now, it really depends on your situation. So what I recommend to people is that, so first of all, we need to understand what LinkedIn Premium is. So LinkedIn Premium gives you some additional statistics about a lot of things. So for example, if you're applying for a job via LinkedIn, it can tell you whether you're in the top 10 applicants, if you are, whether you are a good match to this particular job, who are the different people who have applied for this particular job. And when I say who has applied, I mean, they would obviously not divulge the personal details of who has specifically, but they'll give you like, there are 5 directors who have applied and 5 managers who have applied and 10 senior analysts who have applied and so on and so forth. So you can kind of figure out where you stand in terms of that particular role. Now, normally what I recommend to people is that LinkedIn Premium is obviously not cheap. So if you are really want to be active on LinkedIn, if you want to use those enhanced features, for example, if you're actually actively looking for a job, then you can always subscribe to LinkedIn Premium. And then once your objective is finished, you can always unsubscribe. Hence, you don't have to kind of pay that anymore. Another question people ask me is that, is LinkedIn only for employees? Like, Subbu, you only spoke about job search. But what if I am in a business? What if I'm a freelancer? I have my own business. So does LinkedIn work for me? Of course, it works for businesses as well, where you can use a lot of course, you can have your own profile. You can have a profile of your business as well, but you can also create a page. It's called a LinkedIn page for your business as well. And you can use a lot of the tools that are available on LinkedIn to promote your business. So today, when I'm going to talk in my next few slides, I'll be mainly focusing from an employee, from a job search perspective. But you will see that anything that I tell you, you can actually extrapolate that as if you had a business as well. So the features would still be the same. The only difference is when I'm an employee or I'm a prospective employee, I'm promoting my brand, my personal brand. And if I'm a business, then I'm promoting my business brand. That's the only difference. I wanted to also state that the views expressed today are my personal views and are based on my experience. I am in no way associated with LinkedIn, either as a brand ambassador, endorser, nor do I receive any payment for promoting LinkedIn. I'm doing this because I have experienced firsthand the benefits of LinkedIn, and I'm merely sharing them with you. So today, what are the objectives of today's session? So let's quickly have a look. So the introduction, which I've already done, we'll talk about how to build a good LinkedIn profile. What is a good LinkedIn profile? How to become a LinkedIn superstar, networking, and then we'll go through some of the networking and then the Q&A. So let's start off with the LinkedIn profile. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put it on the chat, and I'll try to answer them midway, or if I can't, then towards the end. Also wanted to say that LinkedIn, the subject itself, is a vast field, and I can actually talk to you for 2 days about it. But today, as you can understand, we have a constraint. I have a constraint of covering as much as I can in roughly 45 minutes from now. So I'll try to do my best, but as I said, I'll try to keep it high level, and I'll also try to keep it for the topics that I'm discussing. I'll also try to give you some practical tips as well. So let's see how we go, and then I can always take your questions. So first of all, before we move to LinkedIn profile, I actually wanted to just show you LinkedIn per se, right? I mean, most of you must be using this, but essentially you have a few tabs on top. So you've got the home, you've got my network, you've got jobs, and this is where you do the messaging and the notifications where, things pop up for you to kind of have a look. And this is then, goes to my profile, and there are various settings and all of that. Now, when I look at a LinkedIn profile, one of the statements I want to make there is that a bad profile is actually worse than having one, right? So my suggestion to you would be that, work on your profile, look at what is an ideal profile, what is a good profile, right? So let's look at that. So an ideal profile, there's no rules about this. This is my opinion, right? Is where you have 500 plus connections, where you have the right keywords related to your particular field. Where a good profile is where you do regular activity, and we'll talk about how to improve your activity on LinkedIn. And now all this, which leads to great exposure. Okay. So let me break this down into parts. So first of all is 500 plus connections. So let's say today you've got 200 connections, just hypothetically. I don't want you to now go on a rampage of, going and connecting with people because Subbu said 500 plus. Make relevant connections, just don't go randomly and, start connecting with people. The second one is around keywords. We'll talk about more about that, and we'll talk about regular activity as well. But the first thing I want to actually start off is with showing you so I've already spoken about the ideal profile. Now I'll tell you about the profile link. Okay, so let me explain that. So let me go to this particular person's profile. Okay, so Cliff. So Cliff is the founder and CEO at Canva. And what you will observe is that look at his LinkedIn profile link. Okay, so this is the LinkedIn profile link. So can you see that he has Cliff Object 79BA9920? Now, when you actually, many people, what they do is they put this link, they copy, and then they put it on their resume, right? Now, when you put it on your resume, 79BA9920 doesn't look good at all, right? So there is a way in which you can kind of change it. So I'll explain how to do that. So what you need to do is, so this is my profile. Obviously, I can't go and change Cliff's profile. So I'm going to show you how to do that on my profile. So this is my profile. If you're wondering how I came to this, simple. Go to home, I clicked on my name. So this is my profile. I can edit it and all that. Now, but here is where I can go and say edit public profile and URL. So I click on that. As you can see, there's a new window that opened. Now you'll see on the right side, it says edit your custom URL and all that. And there is a edit button here. So press the edit button. And then here I can change it to whatever I want. Now, as you can see, mine is neat. So neat as in there's no, all those code words, 79 ABC and all of that. So mine is pretty clean, Subbu-Subramanian. So whatever I do, I can actually, change that here. And once I do that, I can save. Now, of course, if somebody else has the same profile link, then obviously it will tell you someone else has it, you will have to change it. In which case you can, make some minor amendments to it. For example, I also had to do it where I ideally wanted it to be Subbu-Subramanian, but I could not find it. So I did a Subbu-Subramanian, okay, which is perfectly fine. So I'm not going to change that, but I'll go back to the presentation. So the point there is that, if you have a clean profile link, then it's very nice to put it on your resume and it looks nice, right? So that was the first thing. The second thing which I wanted to talk about is the photo that you have on LinkedIn. So for example, the one I have, which is like this, right? With the blue tie and all that. Now, there is a lot of debate around what a photo should be, okay? So let me start off by showing you some not so good examples, okay? So let's do this one, right? Now this person again, obviously I've not put their name and everything. As you can see, I've removed their name, but they don't have a photo at all. Uh, this is not done only because if you say send a connection request, say to me, and if there's no photo, I'm not really sure. Unless of course there are other factors. For example, we have common connections or something like that. I would rather not connect with you because I don't know who you are. Like I can't even see your face. There has to be a bit of that personal touch when it comes to connecting with people. The second example is this. Again, as you must have seen, I've removed the person's name. They have a cartoon. Now, so I would say it really depends on your industry. So if you are saying in advertising, marketing, that kind of a field, then a cartoon might actually be considered to be a good profile photo to have. But traditionally, like, in industries we are in, the profession that we are in, such photos would I mean, these photos probably can be good for Facebook or some of your social networking, but probably for LinkedIn, you need to really think whether this is an appropriate photo or not. Now, and believe me, all these are all real profiles. Of course, I've hidden their names, but these are all real profiles straight from LinkedIn. Okay. So this is another profile. Now, this person has put in a photo of their house with some stairs and all that. So first I was wondering, what is this person trying to do? Then I actually realized that this person is actually into a business of building staircases in homes. And he has put a profile of that, right? So now in the outside, it looks a very odd picture. But then when you dig deeper, you understand whether that's a good one or not. Again, I leave it to you whether, it is appropriate for you to put that photo or not. Again, this one is the next one. A photo with your kids. Again, this is not Facebook. So please, try to keep your photo as professional as you can. Avoid kids, families, anything, which is more social. Try to keep it professional. Now, this guy looks fine, right? He's got a coat, he's got a tie, a proper formal shirt. But what's the problem with this photo? It's very dark. Can't see him. I don't know who he is. Even if I know him, I'll have to really look at it hard to figure out who this person is. Now, always have a very clear photo of yours. So you can see a lot of LinkedIn profiles, which are good LinkedIn profiles. So I wanted to give you some examples of what not to do. And I'm sure automatically you understand what to do then, right? So the other one I wanted to discuss is, so this is all about profile photos. So the next one I wanted to discuss is the background. Now, what you might have observed is, and I'm going to go through the slides once again, is that, can you see this portion here? The one, which looks like a constellation with the blue background. That was there for this person's background. The background was the same for this person. Same with the staircase fellow. Same with the family friendly guy. Same with the, a bit of the hazy and the dark photo. Same. So now, why is this background important? Because as you can see, this is the default background that comes on anybody's profile. Now, what normally happens is that to distinct yourself, to make yourself distinct from others, it is recommended that you have a different kind of a background over here, because then you will kind of stand out from the crowd. That's the only reason. And the other reason is also that you could actually put something which is relevant to your particular field. So for example, I'll show mine. So you see, mine has this background, right? It has business strategy, success, project plan, teamwork, analysis, communication. So these are, so think about it this way. Many people don't even have to go through my profile. They can just look at this particular thing and figure out what am I, who am I, right? At least at a high level. Now, some people are attached to certain things. So for example, I might be attached to Sydney, the place that I live. So I can put a photo of a harbor bridge and the opera house or something like that in the background. That will show that I'm from Sydney, right? So again, you can use a lot of different things. Now, people also ask me, where did I get this cloud from? It's called a word cloud. All you need to do is go to Google, press word cloud for your field. So say word cloud audit, say you're an audit field, and go to images. in Google Images, and then you'll get plenty of them. So just download one, then go back, and all you need to do is change the background, right? So the next one I'm going to go through is, so we have spoken about profile, link, photo, background. Next one I'm going to talk about is headline. Now, what is a headline? So headline is essentially, and I'm highlighting this, is essentially this, which is just below my name, right? Now, this is a very key part of your LinkedIn profile because, again, it summarizes what you do. Now, many people, what they do is they put their designation and their company's name over here. My suggestion would be that that would anyway come about in your, in your experience and everything. So here, try, and there is some word restriction. So there is a word limit to this. So try to, put the gist of what you are in this. So for example, I have not put my company's name, but I've put on what are my strengths are, right? What are my key skills? Now, why is this important? Remember, I told you about keywords. Now, whenever someone searches your profile, searches, a particular profile, they are looking for keywords. And these keywords then help you to kind of pop up in front because, that's what you want kind of to happen. Now there are some this headline which people make, which again, it might be good for them, but I feel it's very philosophical, right? So for example, people say leading people in an inclusive environment to deliver a beautiful client experience. Now, when you hear that, it looks wonderful, but if you look at the, it's not very concrete. I mean, what does it mean? What does this person exactly do is not very clear, right? Or what are the person's skills is not very clear. So again, it depends on, your own philosophy, your type of industry, as to what kind of headline you want to kind of make. Now, the next important section in a LinkedIn profile is this thing called about. Okay, again, a very important section. The reason for that is that it actually, again, derives a lot of keywords. So if someone's looking at your profile, this is another section where the keywords are picked up from. So make sure that, you have this about section written very well as well, including your keywords as well. So for example, I've got my key competencies here, right? So now, what I would suggest is many people, what they do is they put the whole resume into this about section. So that's not the way. What you need to do is put a summary of your profile over here. And if possible, include your achievements and specialities, whatever you have, right? So the next section then comes to experience, where you basically put, where you work from, when to when, which location, what did you do, and all of that. Now, this is also very important because here, again, keywords are very important. Again, it comes up in the search as well. Another place where keywords really comes up is something called skills. Okay. So as you can see, my key skills are insurance, finance, and strategic planning. And if I want to add a new skill, all I need to do is go here and then I can do add. I can search for it. Now you'll be wondering why I'm not able to add any more skills, because you see there's a message here. I've reached my limit of 50 skills. So I can't add more than 50, right? So I don't know how to show you this, but it's pretty simple. You essentially type in here your skill, whatever, and then if something comes up, then you just click that button and just say add. That's how you kind of do, and you keep adding your skills. Now, skills are very important. It helps you to match with a lot of job profiles and all of that as well. So let's go back. Okay, and the last one is recommendations. Make sure that you receive and also give recommendations, because that also then tells me as to who is this person. Like, okay, this person has written a lot about himself, but who is this? Like, let's understand, if someone were to talk about Subbu, who is he? So what is he trying to say, and what is this other person saying, and all of that. So that's, recommendations are very important. You can ask for, so you can go here, say ask for a recommendation, and you can ask for a recommendation from someone whom you worked with before. Obviously, let's say if I don't know you and you ask me for a recommendation, obviously I'm not going to give you. Let me be honest with you, because I don't know you at all, right? So that's something kind of to look at as well. So cool. So we have covered the skills and the endorsements. The next section I want to talk about is how to be active on LinkedIn. But before that, I wanted to just see if there are any questions which have come my way about the profile or the LinkedIn profile or anything as such. Gives me some time to take a sip of water as well. Okay, cool. That was so that's fine. We have in fact plenty of time in the end to talk. I've devoted some time for Q&A, so I'm hoping there will be some questions at that time. So the next part is about how to be active on LinkedIn, right? Now this is really important because let's say you've got an extremely good profile, but if you are not there on the top of the mind of people who are influential and who are important, then you can imagine that it is not, great, right? It is good, but not great. Now, so the important thing is to get noticed, right? And how to get noticed is, so first of all, you need to have an ideal profile. If your profile is not great, you might be very active, but people might ignore you because you've not really put in that effort. You've not shown that dedication to improve your LinkedIn profile. Now you need to have an influential network. Now, how do you have an influential network? There are different ways. So there are two ways in which you can build your network. So one is known people, so people who you work with, whom you've worked with in the past, even people whom you've studied CA with, who might now be in different jobs. You can kind of connect with them. So basically, known people, right? The second category is celebrities, right? So, for example, I follow and I've connected to Indra Nui, who's a role model for me. I've connected with a lot of kind of famous personalities on LinkedIn like that. Sometimes they don't accept your LinkedIn connection, which is okay. But you can still follow them, right? There is a button called follow. So you can connect or follow, or actually connect and follow, both of them. So, so that's the second. Then the third one is where you can actually look at your current LinkedIn network and then see who's connected with your LinkedIn network, and then see if you would like to connect with them or not, right? So for example, right now, let's say I'm very interested in the banking industry and I want to learn a little bit more about the banking industry. Now, in my connections, I have very few. This is just an example, by the way. So I have very few people in the banking industry. So I'm looking for thought leaders in the banking space. And then what I can do is I can look at my connections and see who are there in the banking space, who are connected with them. So they are called the second connections. And I can then connect to them so that then I can follow them. I can also get in touch with them, and then I can learn more from their posts and their articles. So that's one. Then so building an influential network is really, really important. Then what many people do is they try to be on the sidelines when it comes to LinkedIn. They are more than happy to be viewers. They just look at what's happening, and they're more than happy to be just passive users of LinkedIn. Now, if you genuinely believe in something, then I would say that you should like if somebody's post comes up. Of course, you don't have to like everything, but whatever you like, if you really strongly believe in it, you can like. You can comment. Comment is better than like. So I'm going through a bit of a hierarchy of how you can, what will help you to get noticed. So like is good. Comment is even better. Sharing is even better. So what you do is someone's LinkedIn post is there, you share it, right? So you can press the share button and you can share it. So that's even better. Then you can actually ignore any post that anybody has posted. You can actually create your own post, right? You can post yourself. So say you read an article from McKinsey and you really liked it. You really related to it. Now what you can do is go to the website that you're looking at, go to there, you can share the article on LinkedIn. So now what you've done is you're not liking or commenting on any other's post, you're actually creating your own post. Now that gives you extra points. Now I'll come to points and why you need more points. is that then gives you extra points, and it then also tells your network as well as to what are your interests, what are you passionate about, right? It's really important. Now, coming to the points, as I said, there is a bit of the hierarchy. Like gives you points, comments give you more points, sharing gives you even more, posting even more. Now, why do we need points? Points basically simply means is that the algorithm within LinkedIn works in such a way that the more active you are, the more you will be in the eyes of your network, and most likely if they like or comment, then to their network as to the extended network as well, right? So if I like 10 articles and you comment on 10 articles, then your profile will, and assuming both our profiles are same, then you will actually come up upper, or above me in the order when someone is trying to look for a particular profile. So that's why this is really important. You can also use hashtags, and there's also a facility of poll, so you can create your own poll. Just on poll, please don't, those things are like getting really boring, which is things like, would you like to work from home 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 2 days a week? If you like 4 days, then click on like, 3 days, click heart, 3 days, clap. 2 days clap and all that. Don't do those kind of I would say amateurish polls. If you're really looking for something, then look for some poll. Like for example, this is how you actually create a poll. So you can go to start a post, and then here there are different options: find an expert, add a document, share a story, and create a poll, the last one. So that's how you kind of create a poll. So this is how you can actually become a great, I guess, an active member in LinkedIn. And this is how you can reach from a normal status to a superstar status in LinkedIn. Now, people ask how, Subbu, you're talking about too many things here. This takes up a lot of time, reading articles, like, comment, sharing this and that. Can I be very honest with you? The initial setup of creating your good LinkedIn profile, yes, that might take some time. I'm not denying that. But on a regular basis, I feel that 15 minutes of it per day is good enough, right? So spend 15 minutes. I normally do that while traveling from, home to work or work to home. Sitting in the bus, 15 minutes I can certainly spare. Quickly go through your LinkedIn, like, comment, share, whatever you want to do. And that's all it takes. So it's pretty low investment of time with very high returns. And doing that on a daily basis, then, just brings that discipline and that habit. Cool. So I'm going to move to the next section. So we've spoken about creating a profile and being active on LinkedIn. Now, the next one I wanted to talk about is leveraging your network. Now, again, what I'll do is I'll take a pause here to see if there are any questions. And if not, then I'll just keep going on.
Yes, Subbu, we have a couple of questions which have come from multiple participants. The freshers, they have asked that what we should add below the name on LinkedIn profile. Those who are freshers, they have asked this question. And the second question which we have is that if we add any skill by mistake, then is there any option to change it? Yeah.
Sure. So I think the first question is, for people like I put in here, experienced FP&A, business performance manager, strengths in business planning, analytics, and strategy. So I understand from a fresher perspective, you might not be experienced in certain fields. But what you can change it into is that what are your strengths, or what are you passionate about? So the same thing, let's say if you were pretty similar to me, but just that you didn't have experience, what you can say is, I'm passionate about FP&A and business performance, and my strengths are business planning, analytics, strategy. Like, just random, right? So you can think about what are your strengths and what are you passionate about, right? So that hopefully answers the first question. The second one, let me show it to you. So I said add a new skill. So I can go there. Instead of that, I can just click on this button here, the one next to it, the pen button, which is generally the edit button. So I click on the edit. Now you can see that these are all my 50 skills that I had added, right? And then I included top 3 which I can actually move around. So all I need to do is, move this like this. So as you could see, I could move that around. Now, all I have to do is click on this delete button and that skill will go off. Now, obviously, I don't want to do that now because I've taken a lot of effort to get to this stage. But I hope I've shown you how to kind of do it. So essentially, you go here and just say delete, and it will then get deleted. Let me actually try one. Let me just try one. Let me do financial controlling. Oh, geez, it went away. I think so. So anyway, I will. So are you sure you want to discard the changes you made? Yep. Okay, because I want to discard those skills. But you understand how to do it. So essentially, we delete the skill by using this edit button. Cool. So I'm going to move on to the next section, which is leveraging your network. Okay. So in that, the main thing is that about the connection request, right? So we send when we want to connect with someone, we send a connection request. Now, my request to you, all of you, is to put a note along with your connection request. And the note doesn't have to be a long one paragraph. It can just be one line stating that this is the purpose why I want to connect with you. Right? It makes a lot of difference, especially people who have a lot of connections or who get a lot of connections requests every day. They would prefer that over someone just being lazy and just sending, a connection request just like that. Now, this is something you all have to be careful because see, any social like networking platform is based on trust, right? So I just want to put a screenshot here from one of the chief operating officers at Airtasker. So he got this request, so where it said, "Hi, I find your content interesting and would love to be a part of your network." So Yaniv then accepts the request. Then this person immediately says, "I can help you save so many dollars with outsourcing," right? So that's what this person's saying is that, what the hell are you all people doing? This is a breach of trust. You make yourself and your employer look bad. I will never buy anything from you. Please stop abusing my trust and wasting my time, right? So please, especially for people who are, who are into, say, a business. Remember, I told you in the beginning where, say, you are a freelancer or own your own business. Be honest and being upfront as to why you want to connect with this person, right? What is your objective? Because I'll be very honest with you, I get a lot of connection requests, I accept them, and then when some person is trying to sell me something which is not what I had intended when I had accepted the request, I normally, and will be very honest with you, I normally disconnect, I remove the connection from this person because to be honest, that's a breach of trust, as this chief operating officer has rightly said. So the next thing I would say is. I think I've already mentioned about the importance of networking. You learn from people, it helps you to get jobs, it helps you to promote your business, and so on and so forth. I've spoken about connection request and how you should do it. The next one I wanted to show you is who viewed my profile, right? This is very useful. I want to give you an example of my own, and I'll tell you where you can find it. So normally I go to notifications and I always have someone has already viewed my profile. So I go to see all views, and then it tells me who viewed my profile 2 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, 1 hour ago, 4 hours ago, and all of that. Now, the interesting thing with that is that it helps me. I'll tell you why. Once what happened is I had a recruiter, basically from a recruitment agency, look up my profile. And I just so happened to be on LinkedIn, and I saw that this person actually, has looked up my profile. One thing I knew is that this person is surely going to give me a call, right? What I did quickly is I looked up, if I had applied for any jobs with this particular recruiter, or has this recruiter posted any recent jobs. So then what I did is I looked up that, this person had posted something recently which matched my profile. So I knew kind of, or the guessed that this person, this recruiter is actually going to call me about that. So what I did is I went through the whole profile, and then when I spoke to this recruiter, I customized what I had to talk based on that profile or based on that job profile. Now I could do that because I exactly could predict the steps that are going to happen. As soon as this person sees my profile, the next step this person is going to do is give me a call. So that's how, you can kind of, create a bit of that predictive modeling, if I may say so, within yourself to understand why would somebody call and how you can customize your conversation with them. So who viewed my profile? Very useful. I've given you an example of how that has kind of helped me. Now my network is basically over here, and it kind of talks about all the people who are there, who are there. So these are all kind of my connections and all of that. So then what I can do is I can do a lot of things around that network as well. I can sometimes look at, should I follow this person? Should I unfollow this person? Sometimes, remember, I've told you about removing connections as well, because they breached my trust. So I kind of do sometimes of some of those kind of work looking at the my network as well. So the last one I wanted to talk about networking is, remember I told you that you can look up, like I was giving you that example where I want to search someone in the banking industry, right? So how do I go about that, right? I don't know anyone. How do I kind of go about looking at someone in the banking industry? So there are quite a lot of fields that you can kind of look at in terms of name search. So there are filters you can look at based on your college alumni. Say you attended a particular conference and you met someone over there, but you know one detail about them, either their name or say the company they worked for. So based on that, you can figure out who they are and then connect with them. You can look at common connections, and believe me, I have actually drawn up organization charts as well, just looking at LinkedIn. Okay, so I look at, say, who's the CFO, then who's the deputy CFO, this, that. I have kind of and this is really helpful before, say, going for an interview or something like that, where you kind of get the whole structure in your mind, or on paper, instead of they providing it to you. And that kind of sometimes helps in answering the questions as well, because then you can customize your answers depending on what their structure is. So let me give you an example. So if I were to go here, so if I go to the LinkedIn main page, in fact, you can find the search button anywhere, and you can, kind of do it in a lot of ways, right? So I know I want to find someone who works at Reliance Industries, okay? Because I met them recently at a conference, okay? But I don't know their name exactly, okay? So what I can do is I can actually go, actually, let me do it again. So Reliance Industries, right? And then it says, do you want to search in people? Do you want to search in jobs? Okay, because Reliance Industries might be posting jobs as well. So I say in people, right? Because I'm looking for some person here, right? So it will then give me a list of all people who work at Reliance Industries, right? Now I know their location. I met them at Mumbai. That's an easy one, right? So let me put Chennai, okay? Right? So then I can say show results, and then it'll tell me about all people who work in Chennai, because this conference, let's say I attended in Chennai. So obviously this person was in Chennai as well. Let's assume, or I know that this person was in Chennai. So then I kind of just scroll through, all the different names. Then it also kind of gives you some clues, like, was this person from Reliance Industries or Reliance Insurance? Was this person in HR, or was they from Reliance Jio, or things like that? So you can click on any of that. Then you can also say that, while having a conversation with this person might have told you, I actually know one of your friends. So you can always say that if they know one of my friends, and assuming that friend is on LinkedIn, then this person must be a second connection, right? Because the first connection is the one who's my friend, and the second is the friend of the friend, right? So I can always click on second and then say show results, So there are a lot of kind of different things. Now, so this will also give you whether, you want the current company or the previous company, right? So let's say I want to just put current company called Reliance Retail. Then again, I can show results. Then maybe this person told you that, he or she, studied in a particular college, right? So say school was St. Xavier's College. Okay, you can click on that and then say show results, so that will also kind of give you. So of course, this only resulted in one person, but as you can imagine, I was just trying to find a random person here. So you can use these, search kind of functionalities as well to kind of figure out whom you want to kind of get connected with, and also to draw organization charts, or, just to kind of know people who might be important to you, right? So that's pretty much for today. So in summary, what I want to say is that there are three ingredients for you to improve or increase your job opportunities or business opportunities. The one is having a good profile, and I've told you what a good profile is. The two is activity, so being active on LinkedIn, so like, comment, post, share, and all of that. And three is the network. It all depends on how good your network is, how good they like and share your posts and all of that as well. So that's what I have for today for all of you. And now I'm more than happy to take questions.
Thank you so much, Subbu, for taking us to a very detailed explanation on how the things can be done on LinkedIn. We have a couple of questions right now, and I would request the participants, those who are present here, they can put their questions because we still have 7 to 8 minutes to go. And we have a question from Vinod, who is asking, does video profile helps in any way? So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it does help. It certainly helps. In fact, can I actually give you an example of Prabdeep Singh Ji himself? So he has in his a video.
Yeah.
I hope you guys can hear, but essentially, I was kind of expecting this question, so I had kind of kept this profile ready. So Pradeep ji himself has a video. It just creates a little bit of more, I guess, realism when it comes to a profile, and I think having a video is a good idea. In fact, a learning for me today is that probably I should put a video for my profile as well.
Yeah, thanks, Ubu. I think I had put this video very recently only. When we started working on this EDP, we had one session on LinkedIn earlier, also long time back. I think in the 4th batch. And the next question is from Vinay. He is asking, what kind of polls can we create? You had dealt with this, but if you can throw some light on it.
So you can create so some of the polls I told you not to create were things like the one that I told you, work from home 4 days, 3 days, and all. And see, there's no harm in creating them, but all I was saying is that they're becoming too repetitive and too boring on LinkedIn. Many people do that, and many people do that just to generate the likes and the shares. The likes and the claps and the hearts and all of that, right? And see, smart people who have been there on LinkedIn for a long time, they understand that these are all tactics just to improve your profile. Don't. My suggestion would be don't try those kind of tricks. Be genuine. That's the most important thing. So, for example, let's say today I am trying to do a research on something. I don't know what example should I take. Let's just say something which is related to my job. Okay, so say I want to find out that if the prices of insurance, the industry that I work in, if they increase by 2%, 5%, or 10%, and then depending on that, what coverage increases and all that, which one would you prefer? Now, obviously, people will say that 2% because 2% is better than 10%. But then obviously my survey will be in such a way, my poll will be in such a way, which will also tell you that what do you get for 2% and what you get for 10% as well. Now that can then help me in some piece of work that I'm trying to do at my workplace, right? Now obviously you have to be careful about this as well. You have to keep the confidentiality and the privacy of your company. Make sure that you're not doing anything which is against your company's policy and all that, right? So you got to be kind of careful about that. So I would say that use polls to genuinely gather any information that you need and to seek people's opinion about what they are trying to do. So one of the common ones I see, especially in my field, in the business performance and FP&A field, is people ask, which FP&A system do you use? Which budgeting tool do you use? And then they give options: Anaplan, TM1, da 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 da. And then people go, and of course in a poll you can also comment, right? So people then provide some comments as well. Now you can gather all that information, and let's say you're planning to implement a new budgeting tool in your company, then that information certainly can be valuable in making the decision.
Right. Subbu, next question we have is from Vaibhav. He is asking whether we should take premium subscription on LinkedIn.
Sure. So before I answer that, certainly seeing some commonality there. We had Vinod, Vinay, and then Vaibhav. So all the V's are victorious today in terms of getting their questions answered. But to answer the question on LinkedIn Premium, so I think I mentioned that in the beginning, saying that premium obviously comes at a premium cost, right? So you need to decide whether it is a personal situation which you need to kind of assess. But I did mention about LinkedIn Premium having certain features where, say, if you're applying for a job, it will tell you whether you're in the top 10%, how many of your skills matches with the skills that are required for that particular job, who else has applied in terms of what designations, what level at which people are currently who have applied for the role, so that you kind of gauge what the competition is, and you can kind of prepare accordingly. So my recommendation to people who ask me is that if you are really active on LinkedIn in terms of your job search or promoting your business or something like that, then I would say that getting the premium, so the LinkedIn premium, I think is good return on investment. But if you are there just as a passive user of LinkedIn, then I would say that there is no point in kind of having a LinkedIn premium account. Hence, you kind of save on cost, and then you can always subscribe when you need to, and then unsubscribe when you say you subscribe when you are looking for a job, and say once you've got the job, you can always unsubscribe, right? So that would be my recommendation. Remember that I mentioned in the beginning as well that all what I'm saying is my personal views. So if LinkedIn
Yes.
watches this today, I am in no way kind of endorsing either LinkedIn Premium, or nor am I saying you should not take LinkedIn. I think it really depends on your personal situation.
Right. Subha, I will take the liberty to ask the last question. Recently I have noticed that in profile below your name, there is something appearing from, I think, LinkedIn algorithm that talks about this. Like for me, it talks about IFRS, education, learning. So in the last few months, I've noticed that I have used mostly these hashtags or the content. So do you have an idea on when this came? Because recently I started noticing it, and whether it is coming more from a hashtag or content which we are sharing.
Yeah. So what happens is, as I said, LinkedIn is completely based on algorithms which are running in the background, and they are, obviously collecting all the data that you are accessing when you are looking at LinkedIn. So, for example, what did you share? What did you post? What did you like of what other people? What are the searches that you have done on LinkedIn? What are the jobs you have looked at? What are the jobs you have applied? What are the type of industries you are interested in? So they have a complete set. So based on that, what they do is they give you some recommendations in terms of there are certain hashtags which are trending, which you might like to use. So it is obviously a recommendation which you can then, maybe use that, because then that will only help you to make your post even more popular.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Subhu. Thank you for this great session and answering have come through. Now, I would request the committee secretary. I think he has some connection problem, Mr. Ranganathanji. I'm not able to see him now. Yeah, he is there. Mr. Ranganathanji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. There are some problem
Yeah,
with my network time and again. I'm not
yeah.
at my
So,
home, but
right.
yeah.
Please propose a vote of thanks for us.
Yes, sure. It is my pleasure. See you, Subbu Subramaniam sir, to propose a hearty vote of thanks to you. My network connection is little poorer. In case I'm unable to complete this in 1 minute, I'll request Mr. Prabdeep to take over from me. Sir, you explained about LinkedIn and why it is so important to professionals. You also specifically explained about the advantages of LinkedIn Premium and how one can judiciously switch from one to the another. You explained about how to create and edit info on one's profile. The very purpose of LinkedIn is to get noticed, and you covered this aspect extremely well. Your session, I am sure, sir, will help our young members in leveraging their network. And above all, sir, I would say that you are at a time zone where it is well past midnight and you are much beyond your dinner time. We are extremely grateful to you for having taken out time for our young members and coming to us. Please do come again, sir, for our profession. Thank you so very much. Very grateful to you, sir. Thank you. Over to
Thank
you,
you and
Prabdeep, sir.
namaste.
Yeah, thank you so much, Subuji. Now we move on to our second session of the day, and from Sydney, Australia, from where Subuji has come, we now move on to Bahrain, which is a country in the Middle East, and from there we have CA Meenakshi Sundaram. Meenakshi is a chartered accountant and management accountant with over 22 years of experience in handling management accounts, finance, taxation, and HR. He has been the chairperson of Bahrain chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in the year 2014-15. Meenakshi is a John Maxwell Team certified speaker, trainer, and coach. Besides Maxwell certified behavioral analyst trainer. So Meenakshi is also a distinguished Toastmaster, and Meenakshi's wife is also a chartered accountant and a distinguished Toastmaster in Bahrain. Thank you so much, Meenakshi, for taking out time and being here. You have been connected with the Institute for a very long time, and whenever we ask you to support, you come forward. And today, considering your experiences on the leadership side and being certified trainer of John Maxwell, who I call the biggest guru of leadership, because there is no end to the books I can buy of John Maxwell. So many I have, and whenever I go, I find so many which are not there in my bookshelves. So I'm sure that today the topic which you have taken will make a significant difference in the lives of our young members in understanding the things and moving ahead in their journey with great success. So I request all our participants to please give a big virtual round of applause to Meenakshi. And Meenakshi, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, Meenakshi.
Okay, and visible also, I suppose.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Pradeep, for the wonderful introduction and the opportunity to serve the chapter and institute and the members. It's always a pleasure to talk to the young minds. I also would like to thank Institute for doing such a wonderful workshop for, I think this is the 8th one, and it's been a great success, and it's doing a lot of imparting knowledge on the young minds, and it's a great service. I also would like to thank our president, C.A. Nihar Jambusariya-ji, and of course Ranganathan-ji for his support always. Can I share the screen?
Yes, Meenakshi.
Okay, so it's visible, no? Okay.
Yes.
So today,
perfect. Yes.
Thank you. So today we are going to talk about growth gaps in your intentional growth. That's the topic that I have chosen. And before I go into the presentation, there's a small disclaimer. This presentation is only for knowledge sharing purpose. So there are some pictures that I have taken from the internet for use in the presentation, and it's not for commercial purpose. So that's a disclaimer. What I thought is that we will start the presentation with a small quiz. I'm not going to test the technical knowledge of the chartered accountants. You just passed the exam, so I'm not anyway in a position to question your knowledge. So it's going to be a fun quiz. I'm going to show some pictures of some celebrities and their childhood pictures. So you have to identify who is the celebrity. So probably we can give 20 seconds for each photo. Pradeep-ji, is it fine?
Yes, we need to give 20 seconds because it takes times for message to get posted there. Okay, so I would, yes, 20 is enough. I would request all our participants here to please participate actively in this. Yes, Meenakshi.
Okay, here we go. Is it visible?
Yes, the picture is visible. A small kid holding the bat. Let us see.
Yes. Yeah. So who is this? Who is this celebrity?
Yes. So he is a celebrity for sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
I will not say whether he or she. but I'm sure most of
Yeah, right,
the
right, right.
students,
So
most of the
it can be,
members,
yeah.
yeah. And if they
So,
don't know, then that would be a surprise for
yeah,
me.
so we have an answer from Vinod Kumar Korada who says Sachin Tendulkar.
Okay. 20 seconds over. We can proceed.
Yes, yes, yes. So we have around five, six more saying Sachin now. So I won't be reading out more names. Yeah. So Sachin is the only answer which is coming.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, of course. If they don't know, then it will be a surprise for me. Of course, God of cricket, so everyone in India obviously will identify the moment your picture is shown, they'll identify. So let us go to the next one.
Yeah.
And this person, of course, is also a great sports person,
Okay.
very, very focused on fitness, a tough person on the field, and a soft person, I was told, off the field.
Hmm. So these celebrities, Meenakshi, can be from any part of the world or only Indians?
Again, I have chosen only from India for this
Okay.
particular quiz. I could have taken from other, but then
Uh,
it
yeah,
will
so
be.
so this is a celebrity. It says I have four answers. Which says Virat Kohli,
All Virat Kohli.
and Vinod again is the first person to answer.
So obviously, in India, cricket is a religion, so you
Yeah,
have to
so
expect that.
Virat Kohli is correct, huh?
Yeah, it's of course Virat Kohli.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move to the next.
Oh,
And I can give a small clue here. I can give a small clue here. This person is not a sportsman.
uh,
Okay, he's not a sportsman, but
so
celebrity.
yeah, with the turban.
Yeah. So that's why I said not a sports person because immediately people will think, there's one particular sports person. That's what people think actually.
Yeah,
But the clue is that this person is not a sportsman.
right.
So this is going to be a bit challenging
Difficult.
as.
Yeah, it seems to be. This appears to me a girl wearing a turban.
That's a great clue actually.
Yeah. Alia Bhatt, Vasudev Sharma.
Who's
It,
answered it?
Alia Vasudev Sharma, it says Alia Bhatt.
Okay, correct
We
actually.
know.
Yes, Alia Bhatt.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Let's go for one more. And this person is a sports sportswoman,
Okay.
champion in shuttle badminton.
Badminton.
But yeah,
Okay.
but she's also famous in some other field.
I think there is one badminton player who is also a model.
So you're helping the students by giving more clues.
Deepika Padukone says Vinod Kumar Koranda.
I think Vinod Kumar Prada is very, very fast in identifying
Yeah.
celebrities. Yes, it's Deepika Padukone.
But Deepika played badminton? I didn't
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
that.
she played badminton.
Okay.
Okay, now this person.
Hmm.
I can give a clue actually. While people are thinking about this person, searching probably in the internet to find who is this celebrity. This person was given opportunity to speak on stage when I would say she was in kindergarten
Hmm.
and she failed miserably. She failed
Okay.
miserably. She couldn't speak actually.
Hmm.
Okay.
This
Let's see if
appears
there are
to,
any cases.
yeah, this appears to me, some many years back actor, actress. So let's see if any answer comes. So please do not type Deepika now. because some answers of Deepika are coming in. Only type for this slide which you see on the screen.
Yeah. In fact, you're right actually, because this is actually a black and white picture. It was given color, after some year, because that time, you don't have color photography that prevalent.
Right.
It was not
She
there, and
appears to me like some Saira Bano or Madhubala.
not that old. Fine.
We have some answers. Vinod says Indira Gandhi. Ayush says Konkana Sen. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Good. Actually, good guesses. Let me continue the story. Actually, what happened after she failed on stage? Teachers had to forcefully take her out from the stage, and they removed the hat, and then he ran towards his mom. Yep, you're right. You're hearing it right. Actually, he ran towards his mom and hugged her, and he could not actually speak on stage. The picture that you're seeing is actually of me, taken when I was in kindergarten. It was a fancy dress competition. My parents actually are sense of humor are unmatched. They not only named me as Meenakshi, they dressed me like a girl also, and made me stand on the stage and speak few lines, which I failed actually. But that's a different story altogether, which we will come back. We'll come back to that story. What happened to this girl, and why is it relevant? We'll come back to that. So I'm going to keep this girl in suspended animation, like they say in movies. You open a story and leave it there for audience to wait to know what happened to that story. So you have to wait for my presentation to get over to know what happened to this girl. So we are going into the presentation now. It's growth gaps in your intentional growth. I have not mentioned growth gaps in your growth. I said growth gaps in your intentional growth. Why did I use the word intentional growth? Growth can be accidental also. If you ask a medical professional, they will tell you what accidental growth means. It can be benevolent also, can be malicious also. But in our life, sometimes we get some growth which are by accident. But that is not going to help us. That's not going to stay with us for longer. Whereas intentional growth is going to stay with us. We will be able to repeat what we have done in intentional growth in every areas. You are all chartered accountants. You have all used this technique. Let me give you an example. When I finished my graduation, I was wondering what I'm going to do. All my friends, they decided to join CA. So I also joined CA. So joining CA is by accident. But I cannot tell that I passed CA because all my friends also passed CA, so I also passed CA. That is not possible, isn't it? For passing CA, I have to have intention and action. Intention to pass, and I have to have sufficient action to get that pass mark. And that's what you all have done. So you already have one experience with intentional growth, which you can apply in your life again and again. But when we go on this intentional growth journey, we are going to have some gaps. Some of the gaps that I'm going to talk about, you have already faced in your life. It may probably resonate with you. Some are new. Some probably you will face. That's because you're starting your career. You're in your early part of your career. You're going to face all these gaps. So let's now get into the presentation. Let's now talk about the growth gaps that we face in our growth journey. The first gap is assumption gap. When I was in my college, me and my friends, we decided to go on a picnic. It's a falls near my hometown. It's a small falls. So we just got to know the direction. We took a bus. We got on from the bus, and then they said you have to just walk straight, and you see a hill. Beside the hill is the waterfall. We walked. We could hear the sound of the waterfalls, but we couldn't see the waterfall. So what we did, we had to walk on the rocks. We had to climb rocks. We went up to the mountain, that small hill, of course, and then we saw the waterfalls on the other side. What did we miss here? is there was a very simple route which was on the other side of the hill. So we assumed that it's point A to point B. We have to just walk and we will be able to reach. And that's what we do many times in our life. We decided to do something in our life, and we know from point A where to go to point B. That's our life. Every growth story, anything you do in your life is from point A to point B. But it's not a straight line. It can have so many bumps, it can have so many valleys, it can have so many hindrances. That assumption that we take that it's going to be an easy journey is the first gap that's going to hit us. Again, when I started my career in the first company, it was ITC Bajaj and Paperboards. I made friends with the HR assistant, the guy who generally helps us in knowing all the HR policies, applying for leave and all those techniques. And I asked him, what is the promotion policy? He said, oh, you are a chartered accountant. You should not be worried about promotion. Every 2 years, you will get promotion. I assumed that I'm going to get promotion the second year. But it never happened. Because I have to meet the expectation. So I can't assume that I'm going to grow. I have to work for it. I missed it actually in the second year. But then I had to work forward. I got it back. In the next 3 years, I got 2 promotions to compensate for what I lost. But that's a different story. So assumption, where we assume that growth is going to be automatic. It's not. You have to work for your growth. It's like this person in this picture. I assume that they will catch me and he is jumping. No one is going to catch you. No one is going to help you. Everyone is busy with their own work, with their own life. So you have to work for your growth. The assumption gap. Look into the assumptions. What is that you are assuming in your life about what you are going to achieve in your life? Like in your financial management papers, where we have to write down the assumptions that we are taking to arrive at the solution. You have to check the assumptions that you are making in your life, in your growth story. What are the assumptions that you have made? Check those assumptions. Because that is the first gap that is going to come. And sometimes it can make you feel that you are going to lose. And you may eventually give up also. The first gap is assumption gap. Let's go to the second gap. Knowledge gap. We start a journey. We want to grow in a particular field. We want to do something. We take up the project. And then it hit us that we are not equipped to handle the project. We don't have adequate knowledge. When I started my career, I was working for a textile company back in my hometown. I was in costing department. In textile, costing plays a major role. There were 2 other people. There's a cost accountant and there was one graduate with more experience than all of us. One day, director called us and he read somewhere about activity-based costing. So he asked us to explain. And I could actually explain the concept very well. Then he said, I want to implement ABC in our company. Why can't you take it up as a project? I was so happy. But as I came back and I started working on it, I realized there is so much gap in my knowledge. I don't know where I can get the resources to fill those gaps. I don't know whom I should approach to get help. Fortunate for me, I got another job in 5 months. Otherwise, I would have been a failure in that particular place. Knowledge gap. I was talking to a friend of mine who is actually heading an IT company now. And he said he wanted to go into IT at that time. But because there was not adequate information available, not support available, he was not having an idea of whom he should approach to get to know more about what he should do. He ended up doing chartered accountancy. And from chartered accountancy, he then moved on. And today he is heading an IT company. And he said, probably if I have known at that time, maybe I would have started earlier. I would have probably owning a company in USA. But doesn't matter, still I'm owning a company now. That's what he said. So knowledge gap, it happens with all of us. You get into a new job, maybe consultancy, you join a consultancy or you're joining a new company. The software that they are going to use is different. You have been working mostly on Excel or PowerPoint. And you go there, it's a new software, ERP, or they have their own software. You have to learn that software. Knowledge gap. that's going to come and hit. Today, we are seeing, we've seen a presentation on LinkedIn. That's a knowledge gap for many of us, actually. If you see, probably youngsters, you're all more tech savvy, and you should be probably aware of most of the facts that was presented today. But for a person like me, it's new. I have to learn. Similarly, like when I studied, it was Companies Law 1956. Today, it is Companies Law 2013. So I need to refresh my knowledge. In the Middle East, there was never a tax for so many years. Now, the last 3 years, there are so many amendments. There is tax that has come in. There is Economic Offence Act has come in. So compliance is increasing, which means you have to bridge your knowledge gap. It's a continuous process. Knowledge gap is going to exist always. And if you don't understand what is that you are lacking, you're going to get demotivated. So knowledge gap is the second gap that's going to come as a barrier in your growth. All I want to say is just understand what is the gap and work on it. There is nothing that you cannot learn in your life. Everything can be learned. It's just a matter of time, matter of effort. The third gap, inspiration gap. I'm sure most of you will agree with me when I say that when you are studying maybe income tax or costing, sometimes you don't take the book. The book is there, it's on the table. You have to study. But you say, I don't feel like studying. I'm waiting for an inspiration to study that. We all do that. Inspiration. We wait for inspiration to come. In fact, I was interested in writing blogs. From 2009 onwards, I wanted to write blogs. I was waiting for inspiration. I was waiting for inspiration from 2009 till 2017. It never came. 2017, I said, let me start writing and then see what happens. I'll tell you, the moment I started writing, inspiration actually flowed in. Last 4 years, I have written about 62 blog posts. Almost 15-20 a year, kind of. This year, of course, I couldn't write much, but generally about 15 a year I was writing. So from where I'm getting inspiration now. The inspiration is flowing from the action. Never you will be getting into action after getting inspiration. If you do that, that's temporary. Once in a while, you will be inspired to act. But in many cases in your life, if you go back and check this fact, your inspiration would have come only from your action. You start acting on something, the inspiration will flow. So inspiration gap is something that we all have. Everyone feels that you need inspiration to start something. I would say no. Inspiration will come the moment you start acting. You start taking action, and you will see you get inspired in every step that you're moving forward. So this is a quote that I've made myself from my experience. Action leads to inspiration more often than the inspiration leading to action. So whenever you feel inspiration gap is there in your life, it is hindering your growth, it is acting as a barrier in your growth journey, the only thing that you should do, take action. Inspiration will follow suit. The next gap I'm going to talk about is confidence gap. How many times, right from your school days, you would have lost an opportunity to take a lead because you felt you are not confident. You felt that you don't have the ability to do something. The teacher calls out your name. You don't want to answer. You don't want to take up a responsibility. Because we all feel that, No, we don't. I don't think I can do this. I am not capable. In fact, no one is capable of doing everything. Capability comes only when you start doing things. So the first thing that happens in confidence is low confidence. And this gap is there in each of us. We all feel at some point or other that we cannot do because we still not ready for it. We are not capable of doing it. So what is the action you should take on this? You have to ask the question, why? Why do you feel that you are not confident? Low confidence is actually a feeling. So once you ask the question to yourself, why you are feeling low in your confidence, you get the answer. Answer is because either there is a lack of skills, lack of knowledge, or lack of experience. Lack of skill and lack of knowledge can be gained by learning. Lack of experience only gained by doing. So low confidence, the only way to fill that gap is again by understanding what is making you feel low in confidence and taking action. That's what you have done for your exams. If you feel that you are weak in income tax, what do? You give more time for income tax, isn't it? That's what you have done in your exams. That's what you are going to do in your life. Nothing is going to change. Life is an exam that you take every day, every moment. Same concepts. But there's another confidence. It's called overconfidence. Sometimes we feel like, this is easy for me. I can do this. And then you take up a project, you take up something, and then moment you start doing it, you realize, it's not possible. This is too much for me. What happens? From overconfidence, you actually flip to low confidence. And I was talking to one of my friends. She took up a project in the early part of her career. She took a project for implementation of ERP. It's a very stiff target was given, and she thought, she can do it. And she took it actually. Within 15 days, she realized that it's not possible because there are too many factors involved. The IT team was not supportive. The users are not very thoughtful of the ERP. They thought that it is going to hurt their jobs. So she has to work around so many things. Because ERP implementation is not just about knowing the process and developing the software. It's about the human people involved in that. So she has to develop all those skills. From overconfidence, she dropped to low confidence. But then she worked around. She worked hard to gain confidence from each of them. She regained her confidence. And she was able to complete the ERP implementation. Now, I'm giving all these gaps as a knowledge for you because you are going to face these things in your life and you should know what step you should take. I want to give the confidence is actually, it's neither low confidence or overconfidence. Confidence is where you know what you know and also what you do not know. And that's exactly his confidence. Because when you know what you do not know, you know what you should do to overcome that. So, this is another gap, the confidence gap. Let's move to the next gap. Mistake. Sometimes we don't even do anything because we have the fear that we may commit mistake and that's going to hurt us. When boss, as you start your career, when you're going forward, you're going to face a situation. Maybe your boss is penalizing if you make mistake. It happens. You'll find some situations where the management is very penalizing when you commit mistake. Then what happens? You don't want to do anything. Or generally, you feel like if you commit a mistake, people are going to laugh at you. People are going to look at you as a loser. And then you don't take any action. Now, I remember in my early part of the career when I was, when I was starting my career, I was hesitant to speak. Why? Because my communication was pretty bad. I failed as a small child. That's one thing. Second, the next opportunity came to me when I was in college. I did a vote of thanks for a small event. As I finished my vote of thanks and I came down, one of my friend was, who was there in the audience. He came to me and said, Meenakshi, what were you doing there? I was doing vote of thanks. I couldn't hear a single word what you said. It was so fast. Now, that hit me like another nail on the coffin. I stopped taking any public speaking opportunity. Even in the workplace where you have to speak, I was hesitant to speak. Why? Because if I speak, people will laugh at me. Now it's a vicious circle. If I speak, people will laugh at me. If I don't speak, my career will not go forward. So only when they laugh at me, I will be able to know where I am going wrong and I can take some feedback and improve. This hit me much later in my life. I will talk about it a bit later. So mistake, what if we fail? We are supposed to fail. The only way to gain experience is by failing. If you think that you are to be successful every time, whatever you do, not possible. Even our missile man, President Dr. Abdul Kalam, he has failed. And you can read in his book, he himself has accepted how many times he has failed and how he learned from each failure. So who are we in front of him? We are all supposed to make mistakes, and that's the only way in which we can learn. So next time when you get this question, what if I fail? Never mind. Because when you fail, your worry is that someone is going to laugh at you. Next time when you succeed, they are the ones who are going to clap. So don't bother about them. Let them laugh when you fail. Same team is going to clap at you next time when you succeed. So go ahead and make that mistake. There's another gap. This is opposite of mistake gap. There are people who don't want to do anything unless it is perfect. They will never do a job if it is not perfect. They will not even hand it over. They will wait till it is perfect, the way they wanted it actually. I have a good friend who's a civil engineer and turned trainer actually. Amazing person. She had this problem. So she was not doing workshops because until it is completely ready the way she wanted, everything is perfect, she will not do. What was happening? It was hurting her actually, because she was not able to gain more students for the workshops. The moment she learned it and she started changing a bit, she still looked for perfection, but not in everything. She is willing to accept certain imperfections. There is another CFO, a good friend of mine. He is also a perfectionist. The challenge with him is because he wants everything the way he wanted, he was not able to delegate to people because they were not able to give what he wanted. Even if we give the job to them, once they finish the job, he feels it is not actually up to the mark and he started doing it completely. So he says, why should I waste my time giving to them? Rather, I myself will do it. How is it affecting him? He is not having time for himself. He is not able to get time for the family. He is not able to give time for the management to think about strategies. So it's hurting him in different ways. The perfection gap. There's another gap. When you look for perfection, it's not going to be there. As the famous quote says, perfection is the willingness to be imperfect. Now it's completely different actually. You change the definition of perfection. When you are willing to be imperfect, you are going to be perfect. So these are the gaps we have seen. Next gap, which I want to cover from perfection gap, I want to go there. I'll tell you why. It's called empathy gap. Because when you don't have time for yourself, you don't have time to learn something, you will not be able to learn about empathy. People skills. Because if you want to grow in your life, you should be a person who people should like. Empathy is something that you need to have. To understand people, to appreciate people, you should empathize with them. How do you do that? Only when you socialize, when you go for community work, you give time for volunteering. I would recommend that everyone should at least once in a month give a day for a volunteering job, because that is going to instill not just leadership. You're going to gain leadership, you're also going to gain empathy is something that's going to help you in your work also, because you will understand people. If you don't understand people, you will not be able to get work from them, get to know them. You will be aloof. People will not remember someone who is a great CFO in terms of numbers. Someone will remember as a great CFO only when he or she is also good with the people working with them. So empathy gap is a major gap that's going to come between you and your success and your growth. How can you get this gap filled? Volunteer. There's one more benefit that you're going to get when you do social work. Many times in our life, we feel that we are worthless. Our life is not great. You're not. No, you feel like you're so low because you're not really doing anything great. So sometimes, everyone will have this kind of a thought at least once in a while. When you go for volunteering, when you do social work, your self-esteem is going to go very high, going to skyrocket. So one way in which you will make yourself feel worthy of living, of making a difference in people's life, is by volunteering. Do some social work. Make it a point. Take a break, or spend one of your holidays, at least 1 hour in a week or a month, whatever you can do. Take one social cause and do something for society. It's going to make a huge difference to you. Your self-esteem will go up. The way you are going to treat people will change. And people will remember you as a great leader, great human. Whatever I'm telling you today, you can forget everything. But this is one thing I will be extremely happy if you pick up and implement in your life. Meryl Streep, the famous actress, she said, great gift of human being is that we have the power of empathy. So get that in your life. Comparison gap. Many times when we start our career or we do something, we always compare ourselves with others. When I can see from your point of view, when I was in your shoes, when I finished my CA and I started my career, I had my friends who joined in big companies and drawing great salaries. I was really disappointed that I was not able to break through. Why should someone get it? Why I can't get it? I lost some opportunities. I gained some opportunities. But I realized life, in short term, you may lose. But in long term, it evens out. Nothing really matters in long term. So you have to have a patience. When you compare yourself, remember benchmarking that we do in our, you have studied benchmarking. Benchmarking is an amazing tool. Why? Because we use benchmark for improving, not for demeaning. You benchmark with another company or a person to see where you stand and where you can go, the potential. When you look at that, that's amazing. That's going to help you. But if you compare what you got and what other person has got and try to demean yourself, feel inferior, that's not going to help you. So comparison gap is both positive and negative. How are you going to use decides where you're going to go. So when you compare yourself with your peers or superiors and make it as a target for you to grow, that's great. That's something that I would recommend. Do that. But if you compare yourself to put yourself down, make yourself feel inferior, don't do that. No one can make you feel inferior. Nothing in this world can make you feel inferior. Just in your mind. Remove that thought. But pick up and where you can go. See that. That will take you to places. You can't compare apple and orange. So that's the point here. We are all unique. We have a different journey. So don't even compare the journeys. What others are getting, what I could have got. What you could have got is a good point. But how you could get is what you should address. And that's where the comparison is going to help you. If you feel inferior, stop feeling that. That's my suggestion. Expectation gap. When you take up a particular growth plan, you want to achieve something in your life. In many cases, what happens is that we think the journey is going to be easy. Not. It is definitely harder. Many cases, 99% of the time, the journey is going to be hard. And you know about, you passed the examinations, you know how you thought a particular subject is going to be easy for you to pass, and it turned out that subject would have been more harder than other subjects. So it's same thing applies in life. When I started improving my public speaking skills and I saw others speaking, I thought, oh, I can do this. If we can do that, I can do that. But it's not that simple and easy. It took me 10 years to improve from where I was to where I am today. So expectation versus reality is always different. Keep that in mind, because it should not demotivate you and stop you in your journey. The point of expectation gap is that knowing that and understanding that it's going to happen. You're with patience and perseverance. It's always way harder than you expected. This is what my mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell, says. It's always way harder than you expected. So be ready for it. Timing gap. How many times we say that, no, let me wait for the right time to start something. Maybe I'm busy with the month end this time. After the month end, I will do, if you are working. If you are studying, probably you say that I want to finish the exam and then I will do. There are so many times we postpone things, but timing is not right. Timing will never be right. I remember when I was going for an interview, it was in the campus interview, after I finished CA. In one of the interview, there was a director of finance and a finance head. They asked me one question. When do you think you will you want to get married? I was just 25 at the time. I said, no, it's too early. I want to get settled. They started laughing at me. I said, why are you laughing? I said, I am 45 and he is 40 and we are not settled in our life yet. Now that hit me. And I still remember it, because the point that they are trying to make to me is this. There is never a right time to start something. If you think that you are going to get settled and then start something, you are never going to get settled. It's never going to happen. So you want to start something, start now. That is the timing gap. And also, the timing gap also plays another role. Sometimes we feel our target is close. It's near us, like we were walking for the falls. It was closer in terms of the sound, but it was not closer in terms of the route we took. So that also you should keep in mind. Timing gap comes in multiple ways. One is we wait for right time. Right time is now, every time. Well, so we have seen so many gaps. Assumption gap. Now this is what I did actually when let me talk about a bit about my journey from that girl. And I failed as in the college to speak in front of the audience. When I joined ITC Bhadrachalam Paper Boards, there was internal audit. The secretary of the department, he used to tell, Meenakshi, you sound like these Bollywood comedians when you speak. And fortunate for me, my boss, that time Mr. Desai, he sent me for a personal development workshop. He wanted me to improve my communication skills. And that opened up an opportunity. But I assumed it's going to be easy. It was not. So I had to go through all the gaps, the knowledge gap of what I should know, where I should speak, how I should learn different things of public speaking, inspiration. Sometimes I wait for inspiration. It never happened. Confidence gap, always, you feel either overconfident or you feel less confident. That's the cycle of life. Mistake. I don't want to make any mistakes. Perfection. I want my speech to be right. I always want to impress the audience. Empathy gap is something that I will say about in my life personally. I really, whatever volunteering I have taken, it's helped me to get this empathy gap. Comparison. Never compare yourself with someone who has put in more years. You have seen the final product. Especially today, it's relevant because in social media, you see someone posting something and you feel like, no, that person has achieved, I couldn't achieve. The person has achieved after putting so many hours that the person is not sharing. How many times that person has failed, that is not being shared. So don't worry about that. Compare for improving yourself. Expectation gap, timing gap. This is what we have covered today. So I want to close with my story again because that's where we started before we go into Q&A. So this little girl who failed to speak on stage, and I had to take a long journey. 2003 is when I went for the personal development workshop where I got the idea that I should actually improve myself. And 2007 is when I actually joined Toastmasters. So there is a gap, 4 years to take action. And then it took almost 10 years. From there, this girl became a bigger girl. That was me in the middle wearing a salwar kameez. It was a humorous speech contest in Toastmasters where I used my name. My name has got a lot of funny incidents because people call me. They always think that my Meenakshi is a girl. So they always call and say, one moment I pick up the phone, they'll say, can I talk to Meenakshi? I will say, yes. And there'll be a gap and then they will say, sir, can I talk to your wife? I'd ask them, you want to talk to Meenakshi or my wife? And there will be pause and they will say, oh, sorry sir, can I talk to your daughter please? I mean, they will never accept me as Meenakshi. So I put all those incidents and made a humorous speech and I went up to the district, which is basically 7 countries in the Middle East. I represented from Bahrain. That was a great experience for me. So the growth path has been tough, the great learning, but perseverance and patience that makes. And every time I hit a growth gap, I know where I am getting stuck, and I worked on it. Then 2019, I was placed second in the district, which is Bahrain and Kuwait at the time. In 2018, I was speaking in front of almost 3,000 John Maxwell trainers in Orlando, Florida. It's actually it's a major feat for me, and it's an amazing thing that happened to me. The action, perseverance, from where I was to where I am today, all these gaps played a major role in my life, and all these gaps I understood and worked on those gaps. I want to close with this quote from myself again. Know your gap and reach your potential. I think I'm okay now to take questions. We have 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I think we can have questions.
Yes, Meenakshi, we have 10 minutes before I share the questions with you. I would like to tell all the participants who are here that you can put your questions through the webcast link from where you are watching. And that's also the only place for you to answer any questions asked by our speaker. Because when you were asking questions, I got one comment where someone asked me that where is the chat section from where I can reply to the questions asked by the speakers. So that is the same place from where you will ask questions, reply. And we have a question, Meenakshi, that I'm not taking the name. So I would request all the attendees to be extra attentive to know that whether it was by you. The person who has asked this question says that unfortunately I have quick changes in my job and there are gaps also. Shall I disclose that in my profile? So this can relate to your session and also to the LinkedIn, but you can answer in a combined way as much as per your experience.
See, I think this is actually a very tricky situation here, because what happens when there is a gap in the experience? Basically, you're taking a break. That's what I understood from the question, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
There's a gap in the experience. So you're taking a break, and so it can be for different reasons. It can be for maybe if you're a woman and it's understood that there is a break that comes in. But life over a period, I think there's a lot of changes in the organizational mindset. People today are more open in understanding, appreciating the reason for someone taking a break. While it may not be that every organization will appreciate. So don't expect that everyone is going to appreciate that you're taking a break. The moment you are being honest that you're taking a break, don't expect that everyone is going to come and say, "Whoa, I really appreciate that." No, it's not going to happen. There are definitely biases. People are still have got that whole mindset, and if there is a break in the career, which means there is something wrong. That's definitely there. I'm not going to whitewash and say that no, it's all changed. No. People will definitely look into that way. But there are organizations which are not really worried about it now. And there are people who are more open, appreciate your honesty. And see, you should look for only such organizations, because if you hide and then join, yeah, you can be successful in a short term, but long term, that organization may not really is going to be safe for you to work. It happened to me personally. I can tell you this actually. I had a medical condition, and it was 1994. I had a small, when I was a child, I had a small operation. It's called ASD closure. I got an opportunity. I got the appointment. I got the order in my hand. I have not mentioned this in the CV, because I thought it was a medical condition existed when I was a child, and it's now not an issue. But this company, when the medical examination happened, they had a doctor within the organization, and that doctor actually refused to accept my candidature. It was disappointing for me, but from there on, I made it a point to make sure that I openly tell this condition to every employer. And whoever is accepted, I'm happy to join them, because who accept me as who I am, that is the place where I want to work and I can flourish. If they're not going to accept you for who you are, it may sound like a cliche, but you're going to find it difficult to work there for a long time. It's going to put a lot of stress in your mind. See, job is important, but also your personal life, your mental peace is important. So even if you're honest in your CV, I will appreciate it. There'll be few organizations who will be very open and appreciate it, but there'll be many who may not accept it. But don't worry about it. That will be my take on your particular situation. Hope I have given some kind of answer to your question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Meenakshi. If there are any questions, I would request the members to please post this. And before that, I will just touch upon some general things which have been asked. The first thing is with regard to the CPE credit, which has been asked. For this, there is no structured CPE credit, but you can always avail unstructured CPE credit by posting the details on your CPE portal in your account, and that will get credited to you. Second thing, with regard to the recordings, it has been asked, considering the election code of election guidelines, code of conduct is on. So therefore, there are many videos recordings which are hidden. So probably this may or may not be available. Ranganathanji, if you can throw some light whether this video recording will be available on YouTube or it may get hidden after the event.
No, this will be most likely be made available through our DLH platform.
Okay.
Am I audible, Mr. Prabdeep?
Yes, sir.
Through our DLH platform.
Okay. So through the digital learning platform, you can access the recording, which will be available to you later if you have missed this, and also of the other sessions which has happened. Yes, Meenakshi, I have a question to you. Considering you have worked so hard on your soft skills and which have helped you to make the changes in your life, where, in your professional life also, it has helped you to do the things which you were unintentionally taking time to do. How the participation, in the different organizations which are apart from our work, you touched upon volunteering, like you learn, you spend time in Toastmasters, in John Maxwell team. So how our time in each organization helps? So is there more light you can throw upon your journey again in a quick summarized way, that how what role or what participation helped you to change what?
Okay. If I understand your question, you're asking, am I audible?
Yes, Meenakshi.
Yeah. Okay. So you're asking me how it actually helped me and what is the kind of effort that I have put in each of these organizations.
Yes.
Is that the... Yeah.
Yes, Meenakshi.
Yeah. The Toastmasters actually has helped me a lot, because it's a very great platform where you can actually practice. It's a safe platform to experiment in different ways. To give an example, I was very good in prepared speeches when I joined Toastmasters. For the first 2-3 years, I was only doing prepared speeches, and there was a comment that I'm good in prepared speeches. So instead of taking it as an appreciation, I thought maybe I should work on my impromptu speeches. So the next 3 years, I delivered all my speeches impromptu. I will go to the club meeting and prepare my speech on the spot and deliver. So I was willing to, fail. So whatever you take for your improvement, it's the amount of effort you put in that's going to help you decide how much you can get out of it. So similarly, John Maxwell has got so much of information there. So amount of time I could actually spend in each of these modules is going to help me to learn and imbibe and implement in my life. So at the end of the day, it's all individuals' effort. It's the same Toastmasters. There are people who are just 3 years and they have won the world championship. So it's a kind of effort that you put in to polish yourself. It's unlimited, actually. Potential is unlimited. It's all in your hands. That's what I wanted to say.
Right.
Anything that you do, anything in life.
Yeah, so as you know, we do chartered accountancy, which is like a self-study, self-paced program. So basically, these are also depends upon how much efforts we put. As you said, that an individual may become a world champion or an accredited speaker. So it's all from within. We have to do to put action. I think in your entire session, you emphasized on the word action significantly. And that helped you in different areas, right?
Yes.
So that's it's wonderful. I'm sure this would have been of great help to our participants, and I would request our committee secretary, Mr. Ranganathanji, to
stop sharing.
a vote of thanks. Yeah, you can stop sharing. Yes, Ranganathanji.
Thank you so very much. Yes. Thank you so very much, CA Meenakshi Sundaram, sir. You have been with us for a very long time, and you have been assisting and helping the CA Institute for a very, very long time. The ICAI is really very grateful to you. It was a very interesting topic today, how to bridge the gap in one's intentional growth. Sir, you struck a very valid point. that one has to work hard for growth, and growth doesn't happen by accident. One has to work hard for that. You clearly identified the various gaps, which are very interesting. Assumption gap.
Uh, it appears that Ranganathanji's network had some issues because there were some lightning and thundering happening where he was present. Meenakshi, you can hear Ranganathanji?
No, I couldn't actually. I could hear only up to the point where.
Yeah. Yes. So it appears that the connection has broken. And I would continue and thank you, Meenakshi, on the behalf of ICAI and the Committee for Members in Industry and Business for taking up time and supporting this initiative. And tomorrow we are moving on to the second day, where we have very learned speakers, including the CA Amit Arora, who is very popular amongst the Chartered Accountants fraternity, who will be talking about how to develop yourself through sports. And we have Charu from Dubai. She will be taking another session where both the sessions, I'm sure, will help you to learn significantly and implement in your career. So I would request all the members who are present here today to please do come tomorrow, and please do encourage your friends to take benefit of these sessions. Ranganathanji, I think, is back. Ranganathanji, if he would like to share anything before we close for the day. I think he's not able to hear. So we close for the day today. So stay safe, take care. Good night. Bye-bye.